Hi, Stedia. I'm Tuesday. Nice to meet you. And I'm from Anti-Vegan Channel. I am extremely anti-vegan, in case you can't tell. I was a vegetarian for 6 years before I decided to go completely vegan in 2010. So 2 years ago, that's when I decided to go completely vegan, which I cut out eggs and started to try to eat healthier. I tried to eat a lot of raw food. I started eating spinach, raspberries, blueberries, smoothies just every single day. Um, then my stomach started becoming like an empty, vacant hole, and I was always hungry. I started literally deteriorating. My skin became dry. I got soy cystic acne all over my face. My hormones were very wacky. I was emotional, neurotic. I was absolutely insane from lack of B12. Then I started going to all these vegan events. I make jewelry and everything, so I thought I'm going to be a vegan jeweler and no pearls, no feathers, no silk,
No, blah, blah,
all
blah,
that,
blah.
yeah, blah, 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 blah. And I went to a couple events. I felt fine. I was feeling really good. This was about 2 years ago. And then I started not really wanting to do the events. I started feeling like I didn't like the people around me. They're just fake. Everybody at those events were extremely fake. The food was overpriced. I was, because I was a crazy vegan too, I had no problem saying that. I had no problem telling these vegans off, and they didn't really like me. I had no problem telling them that they were wrong about certain things. Like, they would often say, oh, nobody should eat meat, and I wish the whole world would go vegan, and I thought that was really dumb. I have plenty of family who eats meat, and I never really believed that, but what happened was I got stolen from at one of these events, and I was also very ill. Pretty much what started happening was I started feeling really sick and unable to go to these events, but I was still forcing myself to go because I had this huge following, this huge crowd. All these people wanted to buy jewelry from me just because I was vegan, and I know that's why. These girls, they wanted a vegan girlfriend, they wanted vegan connection. It was all about that. And I was all about it too. I thought that because you were vegan, that meant that you were a compassionate person. I thought that people were like me, but it was not like that at all. Uh, Actually, the complete opposite. Vegans do not have any compassion for people. When I was going to these vegan events and selling my jewelry, it made it really hard for me since I was sick. I was falling apart, get panic attacks just from the idea of going to one of these events and dealing with all these people. But I would pull myself together, put on a happy face, and be kind to everybody that came my way. So my table got extremely crowded, and someone actually, at the end of the night, I found out that someone actually stole an item from me right underneath my nose. And it made me realize that vegans are not compassionate. That just because you're a vegan, just because you're anything doesn't mean that that defines you as who you are, right? So I started talking to my friend that night about this, and she's a vegan too, and she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe a vegan would do this. It's ridiculous. That's all vegans are supposed to be, about compassion, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Well, yeah, no, people are pathetic," and I started like feeling real misanthropic about it. Um, and so because of that, I started thinking, you know what? Fuck veganism. I'm just going to eat some eggs. These guys don't have compassion. So I started eating eggs, and I thought that that would make me feel better, and I guess it did. It made me feel a little bit better, but ultimately I was still hungry all the time. I was getting major panic attacks, have anemia because of my diet. It's gross, but I had constant diarrhea from all this. I was drinking 2 smoothies a day with spinach or kale, blueberry, maca powder, just magnesium powder, just like all the bullshit supplements, protein, just killing my gut. And reaching out to all my vegan friends, mind you, reaching out to lifelong vegans and asking them for their help and asking them how they feel. And all they could give you are these like vague and route answers like, oh, I feel great. I've been vegan for 20 years. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing? Nobody could ever just give me something to help me. And, oh, maybe you're doing it wrong. Maybe you're doing it wrong, left and right. It got really old hearing that. So I started eating a lot of processed vegan food because I was like, you know what? I'm hungry. I'm tired of starving. I thought I was eating healthy and it wasn't working with the whole smoothie thing and raw food thing. And I didn't even eat just raw food. I ate potatoes, cooked potatoes and rice and stuff, but I ate a lot of raw food. So then I started going towards like Beyond Meat. And I remember I took a bite of that Beyond Meat. I was like, oh, it's so good. It's fucking disgusting to think about it now because I was really brainwashed. I was really craving meat to the point that Beyond Meat burger actually tasted like a burger to me. And I actually remember a lot of vegans being like, oh, Beyond Meat, that's disgusting, and that's just advocating meat. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's vegan. It's not meat. You're stupid. But now I just think it is dumb because it's like, you're vegan. Like, you should just be pro-vegan anything if you're vegan, but they're just like picking apart everything. Like, if it looks like meat, then you're not vegan enough. If you're eating mock meat, you're not vegan enough, right? But I decided to start eating fish again. You think that would help me? A little bit. It didn't help me very much. So on my 32nd birthday, I forced myself to eat some chicken. I forced myself to eat all the time, actually. I never had an appetite. I literally was always hungry, but I always had to force myself to eat because if I didn't eat, I would become hypoglycemic, risk of passing out, having a panic attack or something like that. Then on my 32nd birthday, I couldn't even really get ready to present myself. I couldn't do my hair. I couldn't put something nice on. I couldn't put on my smile. I couldn't put my personality together, you know? And finally, it took me all day just to get to my family's house, and I got there, and my sister wasn't there, and she had said she was going to be on her way, and I started having a panic attack because my sister wasn't there, and I was calling her phone. She wasn't answering. I was having a heart attack over my sister not showing up on my birthday on time, right? My family saw this happening. They were looking at me just like with these looks, like and my boyfriend and my other sister were looking at me like that too, and they looked bewildered and scared and worried about me, and then seeing them like that. And when my sister actually walked in and I knew that she was okay, I just broke down crying, and it was really embarrassing. But they were like, you're sick, you know, you need to do something. What's wrong? What's going on? You need to go to the doctor. The only person who ever said anything about, you know, it being related to eating meat is my grandmother. Mm-hmm. You need to eat meat. You need more protein. That's what it is. You're starving yourself. The most logical person in the whole world, my grandmother, 82 years old. And so, yeah, that was a rude awakening when I saw my family looking at me like that with those eyes. I knew that I didn't want to die. Even if it wasn't for, like, I don't want to die for myself, of course, but especially for those that are in my life that I love, it's like, I have to keep going for them, you know? And that's when I decided to eat a steak the next day, and it changed my life. I felt a tingling above my head when I ate it. I felt warmth in my body. I felt satiated. I didn't even know what that word meant, satiated. And it changed my life.
Do you think that vegans eat the Beyond Meat? Do they not understand what they're doing? Are they delusional?
They're delusional. Absolutely delusional. And I know I would like think, what is in all of this mock meat? What's in all this fake cheese? I was using a lot of fake cheese before that. And I think this can't be good for you. It has look in the ingredients, because as a vegan, you have to look at all the ingredients. So you know they're looking at those ingredients. You know that they're seeing the hundreds of ingredients in that Beyond Meat burger. And you know when they open it and they smell it, they smell chemicals. So it's definitely delusional. Cognitive dissonance.
Right. Throughout your vegan time, did you take supplements, B12 and such?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I took a woman supplement, B12. I took calcium, electrolytes. You know, I have hundreds of dollars worth of supplements still that I didn't even go through. And I can even do a video on that, just show you all the supplements that I have. chia seeds, flax seeds. I mean, I consider those supplements because you're trying to supplement omega-3s with those, which it never worked. Yeah, of course I took omega-3s, algae, stupid. And now my sister's vegan, and it's really hard because it's like she's seeing me eating meat and she doesn't really believe it. She just thinks she's fine. She doesn't feel it yet, you know?
Do you have any other contact with any people, any vegans, any friends?
Yeah.
What do they
I
think
still have a
about you
couple of vegan
quitting?
friends. The ones who are, I know that they probably think that I did it wrong, no matter what. But the ones who care about me say, do you? You take care of you. But we're not, they ask me why, the ones that care, and I'll tell them why, but then that's it. And it's not a discussion anymore. You know, it's just kind of swept underneath the rug. But at least they saw my story, and that's all I can hope for is when they get sick that they remembered what happened to me.
Where do you think veganism is heading?
I think that it's still kind of in its like kaboom phase, and it's going to just boom and then fail and just completely sink like the Titanic. People are not stupid. You're going to see all these ex-vegans coming out. You know, it's been already before these stories have been coming out that like 85% of vegetarians return back to meat. Like that's the statistic. So yeah, I think it's the Titanic. That's what it is. It's going to crash, sink.
Besides that,
And I hope so.
a lot of vegetarians actually eat fish and they just call themselves vegetarians. Vegans are the ones who really only eat plants, if they do, if they don't cheat, of course.
Yes, and I have to say that I am against vegetarianism. I'm also against pescatarianism. Those are just as deficient, especially for women. If you're a woman and you're pescatarian, you're probably anemic. If you're a meat eater and you're a woman, you have a high chance of being anemic. You have to eat a lot of red meat in order to not become red blood deficient or iron deficient.
Right on. Anything else you would like to add? Anything you learned in that time? Any experiences you had? Something important?
I just wanted to say yes. We as humans are complex creatures, and we think because we're complex that we have to like go with all of our thoughts, right, and our emotions. Well, we're also animals. We're here human beings wanting to be more than human, trying to like become more spiritual, but we're here living this human experience, and it's just sad because you're taking away your vitality, your animal experience. So stop trying to be more than human. You're an animal. An animal is a human. Okay, that's my point.
All right. Yeah. Thanks a lot for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so sorry about all the times we got cut off.
Yeah, it's no problem.